Hello, everyone. My name is Geetika Arora. I am the head of North America and Europe oil contracts team. I also manage all of the automation projects in the oil space at the moment. Freepoint, we are a global and physical financial trading firm. We provide physical supply services and structured solutions to all our counterparties, including hedging, financing strategies. I work specifically in physical oil trading, so I will be going through some of the many oil products that we trade in through many of the motor transports like barge, vessel, rack, truck, pipeline, and tank storage. So oil contracts for all of these get very, very lengthy, complex, and if you know anything about physical oil trading, these are long form contracts that are very deal specific. Their clauses, their general terms and conditions are very, very lengthy, long form, and very detailed. So this was one of the biggest spaces in our firm where we had been spending a lot of time trying to automate as many templates as we could, deal entry process. We had been spending quite a bit of time during COVID to go through and see where can we get rid of the repetitive tasks or get rid of manual processes that we could. And the next piece that we saw here that was very apparent, but we had not been paying attention to it, is how do we read data? And I know Vlad and April and Rick have mentioned that this is becoming a very, very important space where my team currently spends a lot of time reading through trade specs, trade recaps, broker recaps. These are all emailed to us or faxed to us in some cases. We gather all that data and then we tick and tie to our deal in our ATRM system. This is a very, very lengthy process for us, as well as manual process for us. We've been growing quite a bit in our physical oil space, where we've been providing not just trading on the vanilla deals, but also structured deals. And it becomes very important to have one, accuracy, and two, speed on all of these contracts when we're producing them. So what we decided to do was look at ClearDox and come up with a three-way reconciliation where we are comparing not just our ETRM deal, where our trader has entered the deal in the system, but we're also comparing all economic data to any recaps that includes the trader recaps, the broker recaps, any email or IM messages that the trader possibly could have sent us, comparing all of those detailed specs to the contract, the long form contract that we're producing, and making sure. Today we have a two set of eyes rule at Freepoint, where we are checking every single contract, where the contract analyst produces it and a manager will review the contract. So we thought, can we replace this two set of eyes check with ClearDox becoming that check? And that's exactly what we are doing at the moment today. ClearDox tells us, compares these three documents, or it could be 3 or 4 documents, and tells us what the exceptions are, where a volume doesn't match, or where a mode of transport or an Incoterm, like Vlad said, these things do not match up. And in that case, we do exception management. We provide comments within the platform for anyone who wants to audit this deal, including, it could be a manager, it could be anybody in operations and credit department, so on and so forth. they could see the comments where we are not matching up on a deal, including the trader where we're not matching up. And these things could go back and forth between the broker or the trader on the counterparty side as well. So exception management, where my contract analyst will clear all of these exceptions, and then I will report to management how many fully matched, or, you know, we had no exceptions on any of the deals where all of the documents matched up perfectly. We are at the moment comparing 17 to 18 fields. Again, this is very, very apparent in oil versus, you know, if you were trading natural power and gas, where you only have 5 or 6 economic fields to compare to. So this part of the checking process we've eliminated, and we are trying to expand and integrate that into our deal entry system, into our confirmation system that we have at Freepoint, by minimally disturbing the current workflows that we already built and automated within Freepoint. We did not want to change any of the current workflows, one, because that requires a lot of IT work in our departments, as well as you know, a lot of training for different people who are working in these systems. Also, we've increased on accuracy, like I mentioned already. We've decreased mundane tasks like comparing manually between one document to the other, where ClearDox is doing that task for us. One thing that we noticed as we were, you know, increasing volumes back in 2020 and 2021 was it was decreasing job satisfaction, because my contract analysts were continuously doing the same task over and over. It was decreasing job satisfaction. This has increased their job satisfaction, where they're not comparing you know, just fields on top of fields, or in doing they're not comparing different fields. They are also now looking at you know, more focused on non-economic clauses within a long form contract, and these can be 17 or 18 clauses long. Auditability, like I mentioned, anybody can go into these contracts and look for where the exceptions were. Scalability, I've already mentioned a few times. The biggest lesson that, you know, we were, or the biggest challenge, I should say, we came up with at the very beginning was, how can we trust this AI system, and how can we gaining trust of the team to trust this AI system was one of the biggest challenges. Once we started testing through, and I think, you know, the ClearDox team plays a big role in this, where they've been great at, one, demonstrating that they understand our physical oil business. I know April and Vlad have said this too, that it's very important when you are giving them requirements, when you're implementing, when you're finding things in testing where you want to change certain requirements. And, you know, they've been very understanding in the sense that they've come up with solutions and said, you know what, Freepoint is not going to be the only company that's going to require this. There's going to be other companies that are going to require the same type of reports or different type of mappings. And they've been very, very sensible and fast, I should say, in implementing those. One of the next steps, or the phases that we've tagged on to this, as I told you, we were only doing new deals and reading through new contracts. We are now doing phase 2, where we are reading through amendments. So once the counterparty or a broker or whoever amends a deal, amends a price, volume, so on and so forth, we are reading through those contracts as well. We're reading through responses as well. So if a counterparty, and responses take a lot of time, if you're familiar with the contract space, we're constantly telling the counterparty, you know, which clause that we don't agree with, or which clause that we would like to change. So we're going through that as the phase 2. Phase 3, what we plan on doing is an e-confirm type of platform where, you know, multiple trading, physical oil trading firms are joining the ClearDox space, and we could go onto this platform, clear the exceptions right then and there, and see if we can e-confirm the contract in the space. Another space where we're expanding is reading contracts like NDAs, reading offtake supply agreements, term contracts, and general terms and conditions. I mean, if you've seen any of the general terms and conditions, they could be 40 to 50 pages long. And we end up comparing between one counterparty to the other, the general terms and conditions, and then coming up with our comments, our changes to those. So we are going to be utilizing ClearDox in that space as well. But overall, I agree with April, like she said, with the speed that we've been implementing. And the biggest, the biggest positive has been they understand our physical oil business, and they're constantly coming up with new solutions to make things faster and better. So we're very happy with ClearDox, and I mean, we're definitely using them in other spaces like invoicing and in the settlements process as well, comparing broker recaps, paying brokers as well. But I think oil contracts has been the biggest win in terms of manual processes and automating those. So.